Hello everyone, so we've had a look at First Past the Post. Should know by now how it works. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to have a look at some real world examples. I've chosen Oxford for the very simple reason that this is where I live. Well, I don't live in Oxford, I live in Witney. No, I don't really live in Witney. Witney's a dump, but I live in the constituency of Witney. That is one of the five we're going to look at. We've got Witney, we've got Oxford West and Abingdon, we've got Oxford East, which, as you can see there, is a little standout bastion of Labour voters in what is otherwise a true blue area. Henley, and finally Wantage. Now, actually, before we go to have a look at the First Past the Post and the numbers, let's just have a look at one thing that seems to have been giving you chaps an awful lot to think about. It came up in that other video you watched, and I think I did say that we were going to have a look at it. Well, let's have a look at it. Now, the document on the left is the 2015 result, and funnily enough, it's identical to the 2010 result. Why is that? Because this is the 2005 result. And what I want you to focus on really is that bit there. Now you can see, hopefully, and perhaps I should have zoomed it up and it would have been even clearer, this little green bit here has now been absorbed into this little green bit here. And you'll see there are a few other changes as well. This has been, this bit here has been taken out. And basically, this is now what we would call Oxford West, and Abingdon has absorbed a big chunk of blue, and it's lost a chunk of red, this little bit here. This, sorry, this little bit here you can't see because I'm just talking. That is where the university is. So the map has been redrawn to incorporate the university within Oxford East. So this bit here now is now true red, is now part of Oxford East, and as a result of that, Nicola Blackwood was able to take control of all of Oxford West. She got free voters there from Dave because Dave didn't need them, and she lost some pinkos there, and as a result of which, this whole bit went true blue. Well done, Nicola. You didn't win the election. You had it engineered for you. But hey, that's politics. That's gerrymandering. And met Nicola Blackwood, really, really nice lady. Does a good job, or certainly did a good job with the Select Committee on Home Affairs. Very interesting lady. Lots good, but yeah, you have to look at the way in which she got in there and ask whether or not the Electoral Commission was playing entirely fair. I don't know. That's all speculation, but there we go. Either way, the university was shunted out of Oxford West and Abingdon into Oxford East, and that block there as well, even to Oxford West from Witney, where Dave obviously didn't need it. That's gerrymandering. Right, now these are the results from those various different constituencies. And as we saw, we've got Oxford East. Remember, this is the bit that incorporates the Cowley Estate and Blackbird Leys, and of course the university. Whereas Oxford West is all very nice and fields, and Wantage, nice and fields. Henley, well, enough said. And Witney, well, obviously that's where I live, so it's very posh. Although again, Witney, I don't live in Witney. It's a dump, and it's not very posh. Anyway, that's the outcome there. Now, we've got one Labour winner at Seoul, Oxford East seat, and the rest is just a sea of Conservative votes. And it looks like this. If we add up all of those votes, it looks like this. Now, remember, these guys, the Conservatives, won 4 seats, and they won 1, and they won 0, and they won 0. But look at this. Less than 50% of the people voted for Conservatives, and they won 4 seats. Big chunks here, not winning anything. And that is why people have said we have to change our electoral system. We need to get someone that's either supported by the majority or where we have a more proportionate distribution of those seats. This is that slide again. So if we're going to incorporate PR, there are numerous different systems out there. Maybe we could reallocate the seats thus. That, you could argue, is fair-ish. It certainly looks a bit fairer than than that. I mean, there's no doubt that this result can be justified, but it doesn't look particularly fair. And then perhaps we could say, well, okay, that's one way of looking at it. Maybe we need to make this even fairer. They didn't win more than half of the votes. Why have they won more than half of the seats? So let's do this instead. Now, again, you could argue this is not entirely fair. Why is it that they got less than half as much as them and they won the same number of seats? The short answer is there is no such thing as a perfect system. There is no such thing as a perfect system. If there were, everybody would be using it. But that's what we're going to look at now. We're going to look at these alternative systems, see which one we think works best, and I'll see you there.